It's 2 a.m. You're lying in bed. Can't sleep. Your heart is slightly racing. Nothing is wrong. You're safe. You're warm. You're fed. Nobody is chasing you. There is no predator outside the door. No danger in the room. No reason your body should be acting like this. And yet, something in you is convinced there's a threat somewhere. Sometimes we call that anxiety, but underneath it, there may be something even older. A brain running a program that was written for a completely different world. This is why modern life can feel exhausting even when nothing is technically wrong. What if your brain isn't broken? What if the most advanced organ in the known universe has absolutely no idea what year it is? Okay, so your brain has a threat detection system called the amygdala. It's fast, it's powerful, and it has one job: keep you alive by identifying danger as quickly as possible. Robert Sapolsky, a neuroscientist at Stanford who has spent decades studying stress, explains this through one simple image. A zebra gets chased by a lion. Its stress hormones spike. Its body floods with energy, its heart rate rises, its muscles prepare to run. For a few terrifying minutes, every system in that zebra's body is focused on one thing: survive. Then the chase ends, the lion gives up, and within a short time, the zebra's stress hormones return to baseline. The body knows the threat is over. It goes back to eating grass. Zebras don't get ulcers. You do, because your amygdala cannot perfectly tell the difference between a lion and an overdue email. Same stress response, same fight-or-flight activation, except you're sitting at a desk. There is no lion, there is no sprint, there is no clean ending where your body gets to say, okay, we survived, it's over now. The email is still there, the deadline is still there, the message you haven't answered is still there. The thing you're worried about at 9 in the morning can still be looping in your body at 11 at night. So the stress response that was designed to last minutes starts running for hours, sometimes days, sometimes years, quietly in the background, like an engine that was never meant to idle this long. The system isn't broken. The system is doing exactly what it evolved to do. The problem is that it has no way of knowing the threat is a Slack notification, not a lion. In the world your brain was built for, threats that small didn't really exist. Things were either fine or fatal. Now think about the last time you craved something sweet for no real reason. In a world of scarce calories, craving the most calorie-dense food available was not a weakness. It was a survival advantage. Ripe fruit, honey, anything sweet, that meant energy, and energy meant survival. Your brain evolved to reward you intensely for finding it. A dopamine hit, calibrated for a world where sweet things were rare, seasonal, and difficult to get. Finding sugar meant you might survive the winter. Now it's everywhere, on every corner, in every vending machine, in every supermarket aisle, engineered to be sweeter than almost anything that existed in nature. Available at 3 a.m. with 2 taps on your phone, and your reward system has no off switch for abundance. It was never designed for abundance. It was designed for scarcity. So it keeps rewarding you more. Keep going. This is good. This is survival. The craving mechanism is working exactly as intended. The world it was built for no longer exists. Researchers call this evolutionary mismatch, a system perfectly calibrated for one environment, running inside a completely different one. But here's where it gets more interesting than most people realize, because the obvious objection is, wait, hasn't the brain adapted? We've had thousands of years of civilization, agriculture, cities, language, writing, money, schools, jobs, laws, screens. Surely something has changed. And yes, it has. The brain is not frozen in time. Humans are still evolving. Research has found that the human genome has changed significantly over the last tens of thousands of years, including genes related to brain function. So the honest version is not, you have a caveman brain. That's too simple. The honest version is stranger. You have a brain that was shaped mostly by hundreds of thousands of years of one kind of world that is slowly adapting, and that suddenly got hit with a completely different world so fast, the adaptation process is still catching up. Civilization is roughly 12,000 years old. That sounds ancient, but biologically, it's a blink. The digital world is even younger. One generation. Your brain did not have time to evolve for infinite notifications, artificial light, processed sugar, algorithmic comparison, inboxes, traffic bills, online status, and the strange feeling that everyone else is doing better than you. Which brings us to the one that is hardest to sit with. In the 1990s, an anthropologist at Oxford named Robin Dunbar noticed something strange. Across primates, the size of the neocortex, the thinking part of the brain, seemed to correlate with the size of the social groups those animals could maintain. He estimated the number for humans, around 150 people. Not a perfect rule, but a useful idea. Your brain evolved to track a limited social world. People you knew, people who knew you, people whose opinions actually affected your survival. In a group of 150 people, knowing your social position mattered. Low status could mean less food, less protection, fewer allies, worse outcomes. So your brain learned to monitor status carefully. How am I seen? Where do I stand? Am I accepted? Am I falling behind? That distress was not neurosis, it was information. In that world, social rejection could be dangerous. Now, you have Instagram. Instead of comparing yourself to 150 people you actually know, your brain is running the same status tracking system against millions of strangers. Strangers selected by an algorithm, filtered through beauty, money, lighting, editing, performance, timing, and luck. You are not comparing yourself to a tribe. You are comparing yourself to a machine-curated hallucination of human success. But your brain cannot tell the difference. It just registers. Everyone else is doing better than me, and it feels like a real threat. Because 300,000 years ago, it was. Here's what nobody tells you about evolutionary mismatch. It's not one thing, it's several, running simultaneously. Right now, inside your head, there is a threat detector that still reacts as if danger might be nearby. There is a calorie-seeking system rewarding you for sugar it was never meant to find this easily. There is a status tracker comparing you to people who do not exist in any meaningful social sense. And there is, whatever the last 200 years of industrialization and the last 20 years of the internet have layered on top of all of that, all of them running at once, all of them convinced it's the right year. Your brain has no idea what year it is. And it isn't broken, it isn't failing, it is doing exactly what it was built to do in a world it was never built for. The strangest part is that it mostly works. You mostly function, you mostly get through the day, you answer the emails, you ignore the cravings, you survive the comparison, you calm yourself down at 2 a.m. even when your body refuses to believe you're safe. Which means either the brain is more adaptable than we give it credit for, or the mismatch is costing us something we still can't fully see yet, maybe both. And maybe that's the unsettling part. Not that your brain is ancient, but that every day it is trying to protect you from a world it still doesn't completely understand.